Hello viewers, welcome to the Editorial Analysis by Drishti IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. Dear viewers, in this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus. Then, we go analytical in order to understand some key points and at last, some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Drishti IAS and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to give your important feedbacks in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from The Hindu, published on 12th of January 2021. The title of today's editorial is Bridging the Gulf. If we try to summarize today's editorial, we can say that Saudi Arabia, now rebuilding ties with Qatar, should learn not to threaten its neighbors. If we try to link today's editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS Paper 2, which has sections that include polity, constitution, governance, international relations, etc. Some key points from today's editorial. The Gulf Reconciliation Summit in Al Ula, Saudi Arabia, where the kingdom and its allies decided to end their blockade of Qatar, has brought to an end for now their long feud. In 2017, Saudi Arabia, under the leadership of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the UAE, Bahrain and Egypt imposed the blockade and severed diplomatic ties, accusing the tiny Gulf country of supporting terrorism. We all know recently that during the Gulf Reconciliation Summit that is taking place in Al Ula, Saudi Arabia, along with its allies, that is UAE, Bahrain and Egypt, they have actually decided to end their blockade of Qatar, which they imposed in June 2017. At that point of time, the Saudi-led coalition cited Qatar's alleged support for terrorism as the main reason for this action, insisting that Qatar has violated our 2014 agreement with the members of Saudi Arabia, and other countries have criticized Al Jazeera and Qatar's relation with Iran. They also issued 13 demands for it to be lifted, which included shutting down the Qatar-funded TV network, Al Jazeera, closing Turkish military base and reducing diplomatic relations with Iran. Now, there were a set of 13 demands that were actually presented by the coalition in front of Qatar, and some of the major demands in it were: number one, that Qatar has to immediately shut down the Qatar-funded TV network known as Al Jazeera. Also, Qatar has to make sure that they have to shut down the Turkish military base, and also there has to be a subsequent reduction in the diplomatic relation with Iran. However, Qatar did not budge despite the heavy economic cost. When the Saudis and the Emirati airspaces were closed, Iran offered Qatar global connectivity. However, the idea of Qatar was very simple and clear. It did not budge from its stand, even though it was incurring a tremendous amount of economic losses. When the Saudi and the Emirati airspace were closed for Qatar, it was Iran at that point of time who offered global connectivity to Qatar. Al Jazeera is still live, and Qatar has invited more Turkish troops, bolstering its ties with Ankara, which is eager to play a bigger role in the West Asia. Moreover, it played an important role in the US-Taliban deal and continued to host talks between Taliban representatives and the Afghan government. Now, even after such a pressure that was imposed on Qatar, Qatar is doing absolutely fine. The Al Jazeera is still going live. Qatar has invited more and more Turkish troops, and it has also bolstered its ties with Ankara. And as far as the objective of Ankara is concerned, Ankara at this point of time is really very eager to play a big role in the region of West Asia. Along with these things, Qatar has also played a very important role in the signing of the US-Taliban deal that happened in the month of February 2020. Also, under the Doha Agreement, both the representatives of Taliban and the Afghani government are meeting in Doha itself. So Qatar has made sure that its international appearance is still being counted, still being considered. If the original Saudi plan was to isolate Qatar and make it kneel, it has backfired. And in the last week of Trump's administration, Mohammed bin Salman and his allies seem to have realized their strategic folly. See, one thing is quite clear from here, that if the original plan of Saudi Arabia was that initially they will isolate Qatar and later on they will make Qatar accept or bend down to all those 13 demands that were proposed. So if this was the primary idea of Saudi Arabia, then Saudi Arabia should know that the plan has absolutely backfired. And also we can say that in the last weeks of Trump's administration, the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince, along with his allies, they have actually recognized their strategic mistake. These countries should have actually maintained a very good relation with Qatar, as America has always insisted that in this particular region, the countries, unless they are not helping each other, unless there is no regional cooperation, the countries will be in one or other kind of trouble. And that's exactly was the case that what we saw with Qatar. However, Qatar managed quite fine. Qatar has made few concessions to reach the conciliation. The 13 specific demands were replaced by a broad agreement on non-intervention in other countries' internal affairs and cooperating to ensure regional stability and security, which can be open to different interpretation for different sides. After the summit, Qatar's foreign ministry has said the country has no intention of altering ties with Iran and Turkey. Now, one of the most important things that the Qatar has said, that there has to be a proposal, there has to be an agreement so that there is no intervention in other countries' internal affairs. And also, in order to have a regional stability, it is quite important that the countries are accepting each other's opinion and also maintaining a friendly ties. After the summit was over, the Qatar's foreign minister has said that the country has got no intention of altering ties with either Iran or Turkey. Now, this is something that we are seeing with reference to the situation. Now, if we speak about what exactly, or you can say how exactly the impact of this crisis was on India or was on the entire world, it is to be noted. Now, if we speak with reference to the global perspective, if we speak about the economic losses, so we all know that Qatar is world's largest exporter of liquefied natural gas. The Qatar Investment Authority hold large stakes in important Western companies such as Volkswagen, Barclays, and has also invested its petro-billions in trophy assets around the world, including the Shard, London's tallest building, and Harrods department store. Also, the Qataris are due to host the Football World Cup in 2022. Now, this diplomatic rift between Qatar and its Arab Gulf neighbors may cost them billions of dollars by slowing trade and investment and making it more expensive for the region to borrow money as it grapples with low oil prices. Now, Qatar imports roughly 40% of its food overland through Saudi Arabia and most of the rest via shipping routes that pass through the UAE ports of Dubai and Fujairah to refuel. Likewise, the United Arab Emirates gets roughly a third of its natural gas from Qatar via the Dolphin Energy pipeline. In 2015, the value of Qatar's trade totaled over 2 billion USD with Saudi Arabia. So these are some of the effect that the particular region, that is the Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia will had, or they actually had at that point of time. But now when we speak with reference to India, it is quite important to see that how actually this entire thing is going to affect India. Now, number one, why Qatar is important for us? If we speak about the diaspora, there are over 7 million people of Indian origin working in the Middle East sector. The security and stability in the region is hence of paramount importance for India. About 30,000 Indian students study there in 14 schools affiliated to the CBSE curriculum. Now, if we talk about the economic impact, remittances, the Indian diaspora in the region remits around 40 billion US dollars a year. These funds are immensely valuable as they help India manage its current account deficit. Energy is another critical area of engagement. A fifth of India's oil and about 65% of gas imports comes from countries of the Middle East, including Iran, Qatar, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and others. India is also the third largest export destination for gas from Qatar. Qatar is largest supplier of liquefied nitrogen gas to India, accounting for over 65% of India's global import and 15% of Qatar's export of LNG. The size of annual bilateral trade between the two countries is as much as 18 billion US dollars. Several Indian businesses like Punj Lloyd, Voltas, Wipro, HCL have offices in Qatar, while banks like ICICI and SBI have branches there. Now, if we speak about how exactly the crisis has impacted India, so we should know that in the time when the crisis actually got started, the prices of food items and essential commodities and Qatar, it started rising, it started increasing, and it could have actually affected the life of Indians there. Similarly, it is to be noted that with respect to India, India has a very important role to play in the Middle East region, and India has got a very friendly relation with all the countries here. So it should not be forgotten that it has to be a situation where India is playing a more agile and vigorous role in the region. Then let's continue ahead. In practice, the Saudi side stepped down from its demand and made amends with an unshaken Qatar as a new president is going to assume power in the United States. The Saudi U-turn could be the result of a genuine tactical rethink. The rift in the Gulf helped Iran and Turkey, Riyadh's main rival, while it failed to scuttle Qatar's standing. The most important thing that we can interpret from here is that this rift in the Gulf has actually helped both Iran and Turkey. It has helped to make them show their presence in this particular region. Iran, reeling under US sanction, also got some financial relief from Qatari payouts for using its airspace. Now, while the time when Iran was offering its airspace to Qatar, definitely amid such a situation of sanction, Iran must have made out some good amount. So Iran should be thankful, as well as Qatar should be thankful to Iran. The way ahead, by lifting the air and sea blockades, the Saudis and the Emiratis could deny Iran of those funds and also try to put up a united Arab regional front as Joe Biden is preparing to negotiate the Iranian nuclear deal. Now, one of the most important things that the Saudis and the Emiratis can do here is, if they want to limit Iran's role, then what they could do is they can open the airspace or the water space for Qatar, so that whatever revenue Iran is earning by opening its airspace for Qatar, it could actually be regulated. And it has to be done as soon as possible, because a new American president is taking an oath, and there has to be a feel of united Arab regional front. The Saudis may also be hoping that bridging the Gulf between two American allies would help them warm up to the Biden administration. While ending the feud is welcome, it cannot be overlooked that this necessary crisis was born of an ill-thought-out Saudi-Emirati strategy of coercion. Now, ending the feud is absolutely very important, but it should not be forgotten that this dispute actually came up, was an idea, or you can say it was an idea of an ill thought. Now, it actually, when it came to an end, the countries, they realized that there is no benefit, and we have to work with a mutual cooperation with each other. Only then the entire region can stay happy. It reflects poorly on them. They should learn from the mistakes and build ties based on mutual interest and cooperation, not on threat and coercion. Now, see, if you want to make ties, you have to learn from your mistakes. And one thing which is very important, that if you want to build ties, they are based on mutual interest and cooperation. You cannot threat someone, you cannot impose your ideas on someone in order to make ties with them. So it is something which these countries must have noticed or should have noticed. So viewers, this was with today's editorial. Now a question that can be framed with reference to today's editorial is, what is Qatar crisis the world is facing today? Why is Qatar important to India? How this crisis affect India and the world? Substantiate. So viewers, I hope you liked today's editorial analysis. Thank you very much.